Incredible conversations.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for letting me know, Commander. So I feel bad now. I don't want to start over again, but I will say these 4 bands were really good. Really good out. There's none of them hit me over the top there. And I don't know. I sorry about the audio thing. I think it's because I redid my stuff recently, and the like. But thank you for letting me know. I should have checked that beforehand. All right. Cool. Well, anyways, so moving on. Well, at least we have the top 20 I can really like let into. And once again, the way I do this is my numbers 20 through number 5 are in no order. So these are just kind of like whatever I liked for the year is there and is what I enjoyed. But my top 4 are in order. Those ones I actually do prioritize. So we will be sure to have those set up here. But yeah, check out that Bronze Tarot, Hulder, and Crypt Sermon albums. Really good stuff. There's links in the chat. You can go get all those and check them out and the like. All right, cool. So let me go ahead and jump into number 20. No particular order once again. These are just kind of I kind of smash them around just 'cause I don't like to. It gets to be a bugger to like weigh all those against each other that hard. It's only good for the top tier stuff. But here we go. Here the first one is The Gates of the River Styx. So this was a band that dropped an album in 2022, and I totally missed it until 2023, and I really enjoyed it. The first album blew me away. They have kind of taken up the term magic metal, which for those that aren't familiar is very much kind of like the psychedelic black metal. Some people have called it blackadelia, which doesn't really, not fun to say. But it's the psychedelic black metal kind of stuff. It's very gothy, very danceable. Good black metal riffs. The vocals are all over the place. Some are very like growly, classic black metal. The other parts, it's very like haunting gothic. I did have really high hopes for the album because I loved the first one so much, but it did not. This one didn't hit me quite as well as the first one, but I still really enjoyed it. And the song on this album that I really like, let me give a link here too for everyone to take a look at if you want to go give this a listen. Is I really like the song When the Lights No Longer Shine. That one was really good. And I highly recommend this one, but please give these guys a chance. It's a really trippy album on I think they're on Northern Silence now. They were on some really like, we'll say very off the wall indie. When I say indie labels, I mean like super indie labels. Like you have to know who to look for, kind of thing. And then they got to Northern Silence, and now they have some pretty good distribution.
I hadn't spun this until you mentioned it, and it actually ties in very well with one of my top releases of the year. A band that I would argue kind of like pioneered the whole blackadelia, black psychedelic thing. Noctmistium put out a new record this year, which has a dog shit terrible name, but I love the album regardless. The album is called Blight Privilege. Yeah, cringe, but my god, but it's incredible. So
yeah, this one
I'll mark that one off my list.
Very cool. All right, good. Yeah, and Tucker had some time this year too to like put together some of what he's into and the like. All right, our next release is interesting because Tucker, you've actually played with these guys. I believe that's actually how I heard of them. I know you played the show with them. But next up we have Vicious Blade, Relentless Force.
We've not played with them. I got lucky and saw them at a local venue.
Okay, I thought you played with them for some reason. But okay, so you see them live. How was it live?
They are all killer and no filler. They are fucking incredible.
I think that they, yeah, exactly. It's really good thrash. It's old school. It's unrelenting. This album does live up to its name, Relentless Force. It doesn't let up. It just keeps on pounding you. They kind of take that thrash approach where they're approaching speed metal but don't quite hit speed metal. They keep the thrash alive. This one I had a lot of fun with listening to, and I would recommend anyone give it a shot. I really enjoyed the album cover too. When I got it, I was thinking that.
It goes hard.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop. Like it doesn't. There's nothing on it where you're, as you said, all killer, no filler. It is a stellar record. So this is what I really recommend people give it a shout to. I'm not a big thrash guy, but when I like thrash, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it has to be. It's one of those genres to me that works best when you're like combining it with other shit.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair way to put it. All right, next up we have all the way from Italy, Frozen Crown. This is a band I've been following for a long time. They are a power metal act out of Italy. They seem to put an album out almost every year, and I've had some of their stuff pop on my list, I think, in the past, but they don't always hit. This year, though, War Hearts, their new album, really hit me just right. I really enjoyed this. They also, a lot of their stuff was being, I don't know if it's self-released or on a smaller label, but I believe they're now on Napalm. And that's been really good for them to get more exposure. They're a band that needs to be there. I wrote here, consistently good fantasy power metal. This Italian act really picks up the place where Rhapsody of Fire left off. And this album takes me back to when power metal first enchanted me. So I hope that, and I also hope that they are a light on Napalm's roster for what power metal bands can be. Because there's a lot of, Tucker and I talk about this every year, but on Napalm and Nuclear Blast, there are a lot of bands that are just kind of like, why are you on this label?
And it seems like the definition for what was power metal in the last 20 years is just completely derailed. I don't fucking know.
I agree. The one actually, I debated even bringing this up on stream with you, and we didn't even talk about it beforehand. But I think one of the wildest stories it's like for me, in perspective, like of the metal world, is Nuclear Blast signing Marilyn Manson.
Yeah,
that's fucking nuts on so many fronts, so many ways. It's cringy and it's weird, and it tells you that Nuclear Blast is making some good business decisions. I will say that's a very good business decision. It's also telling you how desperate someone like Marilyn Manson is to get on the label.
Right.
All right, I will stop talking shit. It was when I saw that. It sucks because what sucks about it is like every time I try to go through and look on anything Nuclear Blast, like anything associated with them, it fucking Manson pops up immediately.
Yeah,
and it's making like they're like, here's like all the effort that Nuclear Blast has, and they're using 9 fingers to push Manson. And it's kind of a weird place to be because it's a label I buy a lot of stuff. I bought a lot of stuff in the past from, and now I'm like, dude, okay. It reminds me, I got an underground metal for a reason. To get away from mainstream shit. Now it's like the super mainstream thing from my high school days is now in my face all the time. But that said, I will no longer continue to complain about that. Good for them. I'm glad they're making money. Hopefully they put it in the right hands.
Good for them.
Good for them. But my next act actually is, I believe, my only dungeon synth on the whole thing, which is Flickers from the Fen.
That's a tall order.
Stoned in Gil Nor 2. This is the second in the sequence. This was pretty cool. Really good album cover. Actually, I really like this album cover. I like the classic painted kind of fantasy thing, very colorful and the like. But this was actually a lot of fun to pick up. These guys are out of the UK, and their last album was really good. I enjoyed that one. I've got some of their singles here and there. It's very rich, but it's also lighthearted. It isn't that dour. Like Mortis is very like heavy, kind of drabby. Like it's very wet and damp.
I like more, dare I say, adventure-y dungeon synth. Yeah.
And this one's a little more. But this one's not as lighthearted as, say, like Hull Dweller, which is very like, hi, we live in the Shire.
That's
too fanciful. That's very party. This is in between the two, I would find. So it's that adventure.
To my mind, the middle ground that always existed for me is Kobold.
Yeah, Kobold. Yeah. Kobold's very good. I love Kobold. Yeah, there's some great dungeons that I would say too. Is like, if you want to have a genre you want to fall head over heels for and not stop listening to, like, this is
the dungeon synth now. Now is the time to get into. It's been
that way for like 4 years since the pandemic started, and it's just easy to listen to and put on. And I actually have several. I've actually purchased only 2 new Christmas records this year, and one's a dungeon synth Christmas record.
Yes.
The other one was the other Christmas record I got this year that's really good is the new Clouds Taste Satanic record, which is all I want for Christmas is Your Soul. That was actually really good. I played that, and we had a lot of fun listening to that. So dungeon synth stuff is great. You can't go wrong. All right, the next one. This one might be a shock to you. A lot of people were thinking this is going to be my top four. I know people thought it was going to be top four, but it is Unto Others, Neverland.
Not shocked. Not
shocked. Why is that? Why are you not shocked? No, not yet. I'm intrigued.
Because it's just such a good record, and you and I both have history with talking about how much we adore this band.
And I really do.
Oh man,
I really do. And this was actually in my top four, or one of my short lists, but it got bumped. I had to really sit down and think about it. This one quite a bit.
They went gothier on this one.
There's a lot of dark songs on this one.
Yes,
they went way
gothier.
Yeah, I feel like the first album was very city gothy. And there's a lot of kind of depressing songs on this one. The second one was a lot more brighter, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it though. This one, I will say that this album has, I think, probably their biggest range of sounds.
Yes. Oh man, it covers a lot of ground.
I mean,
also, there's like a lot of songs on here.
Yeah, it's a lot of songs, so they have all those interludes.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool. They pulled the interludes. If you get the deluxe version, fantastic cover of Pet Sematary, like really spot on, like Ramones cover. Of all the songs I can imagine them covering, that's like the perfect song. There a lot going on is what I wrote in terms of style, genre, themes. It's a journey. The interludes are a blast. Some tracks are like hard heavy metal, and others are like light gothy little journeys. It's very mature. I have a lot of respect for Gabriel's flat vocals on this. He knows how he's gotten a lot better that flatness he delivers. Like it's just that matter of fact tone when he sings.
Yes, that's really the only way you can put it is everything is very matter of fact. Like he's telling you.
Yeah.
A thing.
And you don't have. I mean, there's emotion there, but it's flat, and it's a strange thing to say, but it works really well. And I've really.
It's like muted almost.
Yeah,
it's hard to describe. Just go listen to the record.
I think it's a great record. And I think my favorite track on this album was "I Am the Light." Actually, I really enjoyed that one. That's a really kind of interesting song. I did really like. I probably did listen to "Mama Likes the Door Closed" a lot. That's a great track as well. But the whole album is really solid. I've been listening to it over and over again here in my car quite a bit.
Angel of the Night was the one that I kept spinning over and over and over again.
I think front to back it's a really strong album. But it didn't quite get into my top four, but it's good. This is one I would highly recommend. All right, moving on. We next have Castle, Evil Remains.
Castle.
Castle's been good forever. And I think Castle is one of the most dangerously underrated metal bands out there still going.
I agree. My old band played with Castle too. In like 2017.
So the thing about Castle is that they're a three-piece act.
Yep. And
I've only ever seen one three-piece act I thought was better than Castle, and that was High on Fire.
Yeah, High on Fire sets a pretty high. Well, and I think High on Fire would be like, we're okay, but we're no Celtic Frost.
Yeah, exactly. I saw them live. This is one of the tightest bands I've ever seen live. Like, I mean, absolute just like precision throughout. This album, it's very much just classic heavy metal. Good horror themes on this record. Lots of good licks. I am shocked that more people don't listen to it. People sleep on it. The actual first single they dropped on this, I think it was the first single they dropped on it, was Nosferatu Nights, was really good. I really enjoyed the video for that. Absolute blast. But this is a band that I think people don't either know about and don't listen to, and I don't know why.
They've been at it forever.
It
still kind of surprises me that there are people who don't know about them.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't get it. It's one of those things where I just don't get why like people don't jump on this. And I think they self-released this record too. So that's another thing that's kind of surprising, because they were I think they were on Van Records and some other pretty good sized labels. But
I'm trying to remember what all they've been on.
I know a few. But yeah, I think that people just sleep on Castle, and I don't know why. Let me see real quick. I want to say it was Van, because I think I got my first records there from Van. Excuse me, let me see real quick. Here we go. Evil Remains, Castle.
They were on Ripple. Yeah, they were on Van. They were on Ripple.
Prosthetic, yeah. And yeah, they've been on a bunch of labels, but I think they're Hammerheart Records. Where this one came out on. They Black Red is their own. That's their own label actually. And they put a live record off of their own label. But yeah, they really this record kills it. It's just good heavy metal. Highly recommended. All right, who I got next here? Let's see. Who am I hitting next? I don't even know who I have next. Who I have next? That is this one, Bloody Valkyria, Kingdom and Fire. This one came out of nowhere for me. I don't even know how I first heard of this record or this band. It's a one-man project. It came out of nowhere. It is, the best way I can describe it is it bridges the gap between epic power and atmospheric black metal.
Okay.
And it has 3 of the tracks on the album are 12 minutes or over 12 minutes each.
More of that.
Yeah, so it's big epic stuff. It holds the title very well, expansive sound. It shows how thin, I wrote this, it shows you how thin the lines between subgenres really are.
Yes.
There's very subtle things here. I described it as, imagine if Emperor played power metal. Like that would be the kind of atmosphere of it all. I really want to see more from these guys. They're out of Finland. The song I liked a lot the most on this one was Flames Upon a Bridge, Kingdom and Fire Part 1. I would really recommend this one. It's I don't know, like they came out of nowhere and were just really good. And I think I feel like this is what a lot of people are going to sleep on. And I feel like in like 5 years, there's going to be people go, hey, did you ever hear this album? Did you ever hear this album? Oh man, you missed it. You should hear this album. Stuff like that is kind of how I feel about this one.
Should have been there, man.
Should have been there, man. I think that's fair. I think that's absolutely fair. All right. The next one, this is a band that appeared on a few of my lists over the years, and I consistently really enjoy, which is Alunah and their new album, Fever Dream. This album, I've been following Alunah for a long time. This is the final album with Sean Greenaway, who's now in doing Bobby Dazzle on Rise Above Records. I was super bummed when Sophie Day, their previous singer, left for various reasons. But I grew into Sean's style of vocals, and so bands that change vocalists. I remember Trevor from Haunt told me once, he's like, when a band changes vocalists, it's one of the hardest sells, period.
Yes.
Because people identify with that vocalist so much. This one though, so we have a third singer coming in, which I haven't heard her yet, but I'm sure it'll be good. But this album, the riffs are really strong. It does what a band from Birmingham does in the Black Sabbath tradition. Big sound. They do Birmingham proud in that regard. They're consistently good, and I think that I think one of the things that attributes to them being good is that they can weather vocalist changes. That's a sign of a band where like the core of the band tells you that they're really good. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
If like big bands that have changed vocalists, I mean, you're talking like AC/DC, Van Halen, stuff like that. And if you can sustain through it, it tells you that your core is really good. And I think that Alunah did this really well with this. But I enjoy this album. My favorite song on there was Sacred Grooves. I really, really enjoy that track. Actually, I listen to that one quite a bit. But highly recommend this band. Please go check them out on their Bandcamp. I will say this too: if there's a band you want to get into, go to their Bandcamp because they are always doing specials. They have a lot of back stock they're trying to get rid of, and you can get it for a pretty good price. And I really, really their first few albums are still hold a special place to me, but this one I really enjoyed, and I would recommend it to anybody. All right, the next one this one's a trip. This is one of those bands that if you know, you know. This is very much there's a little bit of nostalgia for me here from my time when I lived in Los Angeles, but it's gonna be Geneva Jacuzzi Triple Fire. So those that don't know, I lived in Los Angeles for 2 years, and I went to a lot of shows back then. This is like 14 years ago. And I went and saw some bands I knew about, and there was this other band they were opening for, Geneva Jacuzzi. How the fuck is Geneva Jacuzzi? And Geneva Jacuzzi is a band project, but also a performance artist. And live Geneva Jacuzzi is fucking nuts. It is her early stuff has been described as bedroom Casio driven, like the kind of stuff you'd make on your Casio little shitty keyboard in your bedroom at night. And this is really evolved. It's highly produced, very good. When I found out she was going to Dias Records, I was like, of course, it makes 100% sense. That feels like a Dias Records act. But this is her first album in 9 years. I think she really stepped up for the new decade. I enjoy this one. I really like the song on this album, Bow Tie Eater. It's weird stuff. Her stuff is weird. I will say that. You better strap in. It's very 80s, very much like Klaus Nomi, very Klaus Nomi kind of stuff, kind of into it, but it's that kind of performance art taken to like the 21st century. Highly recommend this album though. Triple Fire enjoyed this one a lot though, but please give us a listen. I will say this to you, Tucker. If you like Barahari, give Geneva Jacuzzi's, at least current stuff, a listen to. The early stuff I will say is weird. It can be all over the place for you. But it's a lot of like one of her early songs I fell in love with was a song called Love Caboose. And the chorus is like, turn the noose with your love caboose or something like that. It's fucking bizarre shit. Like, it's way out there, and the videos are a lot of fun. But highly recommended. All right. My next up on my list is one that made a lot of people's top 20s. Actually, I saw this one around the internet. But is Spectral Wounds, Songs of Blood and Mire.
Yeah.
This one I've seen around a lot. It doesn't let up. It is a hard pounding black metal record front to back. It doesn't. It still feels like that very like early black metal DIY garage stuff, but it's well done. It's polished. You can hear everything in it. Nothing's lost. They just nail it. My favorite track on this one was 12 Moons in Hell. Did you listen to this one, Tucker?
No, but I know like everybody else I know is a huge fan of it. It's one of the records that I managed to sleep on this year. They even played in Indianapolis.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
They're sadly a band I haven't seen live. What's funny about this band is, what's funny about Spectral Wound to me is I've seen a lot of people wearing their shirts around at, like, especially at Ren fairs lately.
Yeah.
They got some notoriety. People are noticing.
It's crazy. They kind of popped up a little quickly. Like, they've been around forever. I know they've been around for at least like 5 or 6 years, probably longer. But
yeah, I really like this one though. It was a lot of fun, and but yeah, I think people slept on this one a bit too. I think that was kind of like Tucker and mine's like early before we started here. Was a lot of people slept on a lot of stuff this year. So us included. And once again, this is only what I've listened to. This is only what I've really experienced, what I checked out. There's other stuff out there I missed, I'm sure. I'd love to hear if you got ideas, drop in the chat, comments, whatever it is. Whatever I missed, I should have heard. Moving on though, this album actually I really, really liked. Actually, this was this is another band. It's kind of in the vein of like Frozen Crown for me, but it's Crystal Viper.
Mm-hmm.
I like Crystal Viper. They put an album out pretty consistently here. And usually I find their albums, I'm like, it was good. Like, I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was fun to listen to. But it doesn't like go over the edge for me into like something that that really sticks out to me all year long. And the new one though, the Silver Key, man, this album fucking killed it. I really feel that they got something special here. I feel like it was just their year. I don't know how else to put it. I know that you've is it the guitarist you've talked to, or who is it?
So Marta, the singer, her husband Bart masters all of our No Remorse releases.
Okay. And so once again, they're a really consistent band. Everything they do sounds good. This one kind of came at the right time for me. I feel like Crystal Viper. This is how I describe Crystal Viper as. I feel like Crystal Viper is a continuing love song to heavy metal.
Yeah.
They do some great covers. I know they did a cover. I think like a Merciful Fate or King Diamond cover that's pretty popular. But they also push themselves and they hit those higher kind of points. They approach power metal, but and they do have some stuff that's very power metal, but it's not like they don't stay there. They kind of come back into it, ballads or like classic metal stuff like that too. I feel like their talent on this was just tuned up. The one track on here that really stuck out to me is Fear of the Gods. I think Marta's vocals on that are really strong. I think the writing on that song is very strong. But yeah, the new Crystal Viper was one I really, really enjoyed. This one is one that Tucker said he didn't know until I sent him a list here, a short list, that they had a new album out, but is Black Pyramid.
Yep.
You said you missed this one.
I gotta spin it because I've not listened to it yet.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Black Pyramid is one of the bands that I really that really got me into doom metal actually, and was one of those I really enjoyed the first album when it came out, and just like since then there's a band I keep on, whenever they put something new out I want to hear it. It always sticks out to me. It does what it does. It does what it does and does it well.
Yeah.
I think it's been 11 years since the new album. This one is an epic 3-part. The back part of the album is 3 parts. One big like epic, and it's a blast to listen to. Most of the songs are over 8 minutes. They're big, long songs, which is something a lot of people overlook.
I have very, very vivid memories of my senior year of high school when Black Pyramid 1 came out, and they had the music video for And the Gods Made War.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like some crazy like 40s cartoon that they just put the song on top of, and it's just it liquidated my brain. So I'm gonna have to spin this. Man.
Yeah, and I also, yeah, that's another thing too, is I only heard about the album because I'm on their label in France, which is Totem Cat Records. I'm on their mailing list, and I saw like, hey, the album's coming out. Pre-order starts this date. I was like, all right, we'll do a pre-order. And so, but the paths of time are vast. This album is really strong. I highly recommend this. It's a good listen. Something to kind of chill out to. Give a just something to check out. I feel like people stuck on this one. I feel like it wasn't promoted. It sounds bad to say like when someone's not promoted well, but like when you have someone like Tucker who's like a fan, and you know people in the band, and you haven't heard about it.
I've literally known one of the guys from Black Pyramid since like 2009.
You're like, what? Why didn't you tell me?
And I had no idea there was a new record.
Why didn't you tell me? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. Hey everyone, by the way, too, we're still running the giveaway. If you want to get entered to win some Bandcamp codes, I got a bunch to give away. Please throw in a quick, just type in AOTW or TOY, excuse me, 24, and you'll be entered to win. If I don't give them out here, I will just be like tossing them out for free everywhere else I go in the internet. I want to get rid of these pieces of paper sitting on my desk. I think actually a few years back I actually took a photo of all of them and just said, all right, these are all up for grabs. Just grab them. Use them. I don't care. That's free music, guys. You get what you get. All right. Let's see here. There you go. Cool. Come on. So let me go ahead and pull one for you real quick here. Because I'm actually using the new version of Nightbot, so let's see how it works. And our winner is it's Commando Solo 193. Congratulations, you won. I will be sure to send you some codes at the end of the stream here. I'll send you a little stack of them to give some to kind of listen to and hang out with. All right, well, where are we going here next? I don't know where we are in this list. I'm getting far. Let me pull my list here. The next one, so yeah, so those of you that missed me talking at the beginning because my mic was off because I'm a fool. Well, we were talking about this band, and it is Castle Rat. This is the album Into the Realm. The debut from this fun act. Castle Rat kind of like blew up this year. Man. They're doing quite well for themselves. They've got some tours, they're playing shows, they're getting constantly sold out. Their records are selling out. They did a lot of variants, they all sold out. They're currently doing a Kickstarter for their album 2, which is, they were looking for 15K. They're at like over 75K, I think, or something like that over right now. This is a band that has a very high future ahead of them. I talked about the theatrics of the band. They're really good. The visuals are great. They hire some great artists and everything like that too. They're working with a lot of my favorite photographers and my favorite comic book artists. But musically, which we shouldn't forget about, this band reminds. I went to go see them. My nephew came with me. My nephew's him and I are big Sword fans. And when Casper opened up their first song, my nephew was like, "This sounds like the Sword, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." Mm-hmm. It does. And that's not a bad thing. They kind of, what's up?
They both, especially like on the Swords, on Age of Winter specifically, it's almost like they're tapping into this bizarro alternate reality, late 70s, early 80s, in terms of like the metal tropes and the things that they're
Yeah.
pulling from. It's really dreamy and
very
strange.
dreamy.
It's very cool.
Yeah, like a dreamy stoner rock, like a little like and I think that one thing that sets us, I'm actually one thing that's really shocking me about this is even live when I saw them. You know, I'll say like someone can sound pretty much however they want to on an album. Like you have the time to produce shit. I watched that thing with like Billie Eilish where she talking about like slicing the vocals and shit and like putting
comping. Yeah,
comping.
Yeah.
But I saw Castle Rat live, and I was actually really impressed with how much control Riley Pinkerton has on her vocals live.
I believe it.
It sounds how the album sounds, and then she does these speeches, and they sound that dreamy side. So I have a lot of respect for that you can pull off live. The music matches pace with the visuals. I said this album. This is what I wrote. This album sounds like what a 70s fantasy airbrush van would sound like.
Yeah. And I think that the sword also tapped into that. So I think that
and I think the sword was a little more for no pun intended, was a little sharper in some regards. Yes. A little more like brittle on the edge and sharper.
Castle Rat is I would argue more palatable.
Yeah, I think it's a broader appeal. Yeah, where like the sword, I always felt was like there was a lot of rawness to it. The early stuff, like it's very brutal in that sound, like that kind of like a scrapey edge of the sound. But this one's a lot cleaner. But I'm looking forward to their new release, and I highly recommend this one. If you missed it, you missed it. Don't please get their stuff. They're a fantastic band, and I was really this was a band that I feel that like they're younger and I think they have a big future ahead of themselves, and for lack of a better term, it's theirs to lose. Yeah. If it goes under, it's because of some dumbass move. But and as long as they're smart, I think they're gonna keep on going on for decades.
Ideally.
Yeah. I really like the song on this Fresh Fur. I thought the song was a lot of fun. There's some really good low key moments on this. Highly good fantasy metal.
They have awesome music videos. Go watch the music videos too.
You can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong with this band. And I feel like this is the band that you could get your friends into heavy metal with.
Yes. I think that Castle Rat are the best gateway metal. Like, I mean, I know I call it coworker metal. What's the name of that one fucking band where they all wear masks? There's like no, the other one now.
Sleep Token?
Yeah. I call Sleep Token coworker metal, but I mean, like, man, Castle Rat, that's a really good game.
I feel like I could get a coworker to listen to Castle Rat, and then within 2 weeks have them be like diehard Candlemass fans.
Probably.
All right. Well, speaking of that band, and also in the conversation you missed was I saw Castle Rat with two other bands, Acid King, and these guys. Early Moods, A Sinner's Past. Yo, these guys fucking rule, man. I saw them last year with Covenant and Lucifer, and they blew the roof off the house.
We played with them at Legions of Metal in 2022.
And they come out just bringing it. It is like faster Candlemass, I think is one way you described it too. Really, really good band. Highly recommended. Early Moods is really good. I don't know what's up with these guys. They just rock. Great occult themes. They're out of LA. It's largely a Latino band, from my understanding. And dude, these guys, they know how to play. They fucking know how to play. And if like their first album was really good, I enjoyed that one a lot. This one, damn dude, it stepped it up. Good absolute hellfire on it. If you can see these guys, and I will say this. As good as the album is, they are one of those bands that is that much better live. You will not be disappointed. You cannot help but like, because when I saw them, Castle Rat opens up and it's very theatrical. Early Moods just comes on stage and plays.
Yeah.
And there's no like preamble. They just come on stage and say, hey, I hope you guys have a good night. Let's play. And they play, and holy shit, the house goes, like the roof just goes all the place because they're just shredding it up and tearing it up for everybody. So these guys, I wish them the best. I really want to see these guys do well, and I feel like they're someone that deserves it because they have their stuff toned just spot on, toned on, and the like. So, all right, moving on. This is one that I know people. I have a lot of friends that have never heard of this shit, and I don't know how I heard of it. I think I stumbled upon it on like Instagram feed or something like that. But this is the band Hail Darkness, and these guys have put out some stuff over the year, the last year or so, and they have an album called Death Divine that dropped on vinyl. It is I wrote here. It is straight up coven worship. We talk about the band Coven with having a lot of influence on like cult music and like heavy metal and everything.
Mm-hmm.
This takes that and like really tones it up. It is kind of like it's weird because it blends that heavy metal, folk rock, psychedelic rock genre quite nicely. It's very spooky. It's a very mature sound, even though like they haven't been around that long. Very groovy. It feels that like it feels like it could be like, I feel like you know how you can like, you know, like apparently you can like play Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon to the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I feel like you could play Hail Darkness and Death Divine to the Wicker Man.
Ooh, I like that.
Like that's how I feel about it. I wrote down, put some candles on and let this one loose. This is a band too, I'm shocked is not on a label. Like, I don't think they're on a label. They're a little surprised, but they keep on putting stuff out. They have a lot of EPs out. When did this one first originally come out? Yeah, it was this year in August. So highly recommend. I'm not sure where they are out of, though, to be frank. I really don't know. But I hope they do more of it. Okay, well, I got one more for my numbers 5 through 20. And this one was actually one that almost made my runners up list, and I'm happy it didn't, because I feel like I would have been I would have felt bad if it didn't. But it is the new Chelsea Wolfe album. This is She Reaches Out to She Reaches Out to She. This one was really good. This album I felt was Chelsea getting back to her early roots. In that her Abyss blew up for her and she kind of became like this doom metal goddess because of that record.
Yeah.
That's a very doom metal album. It's very heavy and harsh. But if you go back and listen to her earlier stuff, it's much more electronic and everything. Where this one kind of goes into that realm. So I view this as kind of what put her on the map. It's kind of a return to that. It's electronic driven. I wrote electronic driven haunting guitar rock that touches on quasi-industrial elements at times, but still has that singer-songwriter quality. Maybe if I just say all the words, it'll be true.
I really all the bases.
Yeah, I mean, because Chelsea Wolfe fundamentally is a singer-songwriter.
Yes.
She got her start off doing coffee house stuff in California. One of my friends booked her way back in 2005, 2006, something like that, at our university. And she's really blown up on a lot of fronts, but I feel like this one was her getting back to her roots of stuff like from Apocalypse and Beauty is Pain, and that bit more electronic elements. But she's mastered the guitar a bit better and mastered that heavier sound and knows how to control it to make it work for her. So I really enjoyed this one. The song on here I liked was The House of Self Undoing was my favorite track on this one. But highly recommend this one. I think that she's the last album. I liked it, but it didn't really do it for me. And it wasn't that it was bad. It just didn't click with me how it felt. And this one really clicked for me. So I'm glad to see that back. And I really I'm actually kind of sad I didn't catch her. I'm not going to see her anytime soon, honestly, because she's always fun to see live. But that all said, there's the recap. You can see on the graphic there my numbers 20 through 5, all in order. Please check out all these bands, guys. You'll notice too, I will say this, of all the bands I've listed, there's only actually one band that does not. There's only, I think, 2 bands on here that don't have band camps. And so we're still believing in Bandcamp, we're still supporting it, but please go check them out in there. That's the best way to support bands. It goes a long ways. And the like. All right, so here is the top 4. Now, I want to be clear, man. You guys know me. If you watch me, if you listen to me, if you ever talk to me, and I can almost guarantee you Tucker. I believe Tucker could probably name 3 out of 4 are my top 4 off the top of his head right now. If you got a piece of paper and you want to write them down, feel free to, and then show it to me after I do it. I'm pretty sure you could do it, but I'm going to delve into those real quick.
I mean, I know one of them off the top of my head.
I know you're going to know one of them off the top of your head. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But number 4 has made quite a few lists, and it is, it's one of those bands where like I feel like when I put on my list, like people are gonna be like, oh, you would put that on your list because you're like a chump, and I'm like, bro, it's fucking good. It's genuinely good. You need to give it a listen to. But number 4 on my list is Judas Priest, Invincible Shield.
Yep. That wasn't the one, but yes.
But look.
Yeah.
Firepower was dope. Firepower was amazing.
No, Firepower was sick.
Invincible Shield, great record too. And what's kind of blowing my mind here is late stage Judas Priest. Like, because face it, like we're at late stage Judas Priest. Like, it's how it's gonna work.
Yeah.
This rules.
No, late stage Judas Priest is killing it.
Yeah. Like, it's gone to show us that like bands like Kiss and everything, these other guys, it's like, what are you guys doing? Like, come on, you guys can still do this. Like, you guys, there's no excuse.
And the other side of that is like, and I'm going to draw my line in the sand on this one. When we have the Priest versus Maiden argument, I was thinking about that today. It's like, well, every single Maiden album has at least 2 songs that I skip on it. And I can't say that for Judas Priest. And the thing is, like, you compare recent output Iron Maiden to recent output Judas Priest. Yeah. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm also realizing I misspelled Invincible Shield on my thing, but that's all right. You know the album covers. I have no link to this because it's Judas Priest. You guys
just go listen to Judas Priest.
Go listen to Judas Priest. But yeah, this album, man, front to back, I really enjoyed. It was. I think Judas Priest is the best heavy metal band of all times.
They are.
People want to say Maiden. If people say Metallica, I tell them to get the fuck out of here.
No, it's Priest.
It's Priest. Consistently throughout the
years,
it's always been Priest. I do. Don't get me wrong. Iron Maiden has this big chunk of records that are fucking amazing, but like Priest keeps on.
Even those best Iron Maiden records, there's like a song or two I skip on all of them.
There's one song I can't stand of theirs. I'm trying to remember what it is offhand. There's one song.
Well, I can tell you a bunch of Iron Maiden songs.
Yeah, there's a bunch. I can't stand.
Back in the Village. I'd rather eat a fucking bullet than listen to Back in the Village.
Yeah, I know. I think this was I wrote heavy metal, fresh, diverse, well performed. It does not feel phoned in. A lot of bands going on 50 years would not be dropping this quality, but here we are. Everyone sounds good. Just put this on and tell me you don't get grabbed. Trial by Fire was my favorite song on this album. I thought it had a really strong chorus. The video for that's a lot of fun.
And Halford still sounds incredible.
Halford still rules, dude. So this is a band I really recommend you. This is an album I really recommend you give it. And I've seen it pop up on a few people's lists, and people are like, oh, you would say Judas Priest. I'm like, go and listen to it. Fucking shut the fuck up and go listen to it. Tell me it's not a good heavy metal record, front to back. Even if it wasn't Priest, it would be good.
Yeah.
But that said, let's move on to number 3. So number 3, as I said last year, they did not put an album out, so they gave everyone a chance. But this year they put an album out, so it was good. It was gonna make my top list for sure. But is Lucifer 5.
Yep. This is the one that I knew was gonna be on here.
I'm a sim for Lucifer. Like, I fucking just love Lucifer. I think they're consistently a really good band. I think that every album they put out is really good. But this one I really, really liked because it's the 5th album and it felt much darker, insightful, and it has that classic rock style.
Yeah.
A few of the albums before this were, I'd say Joanna got very personal on them, which is great. I'm glad she did. But this one I felt like was kind of a return to that kind of occult, like scary, little fearful, tense rock element to it. The production is grand. It feels very tight. I think that this band, because like Joanna and Nikki, they're married, and they have like kind of a studio on the farm where they live. I think that they're just like waking up in the morning, going and working on this at their own pace. And I think that's what makes it good.
Which is good.
Is it feels very natural, just kind of emerges.
Speaking from experience, that's good.
And so I this one I really, really enjoyed. The song here I really liked was Nothing Left to Lose But My Life. So that kind of, it's because this one, I don't feel like this album, it is personal, but it's not as personal as the previous ones. There's some ones that are very, we'll say like, they're very autobiographical songs. But this one felt like it had like a much more introspection and everything. So I obviously, we're looking forward to Lucifer 6 at some point. But yeah, I highly recommend this one, and I can't recommend this. I still have it, but I haven't listened to it yet because I haven't even opened it. I got the Lucifer and Graveyard single. They did a single with a Graveyard. And so I'm really eager to listen to that one. But Lucifer had a really good year, and seeing them last year was amazing. I can't recommend this one enough. All right, here's where it gets tense. My number one's and my number two. Now I will say this: if you know me, you will know what my number one and number two are. If you know me,
yeah.
And my number, I have a hard time with this. And once again, it was very much like last year, where my split was between Black Braid and Smolder. And simply put, it came down to which one did I keep on putting on more? Which one did I listen to more? Like, which one would I just like, I need to listen to music, which I listen to, I'll listen to this band. And that's all that like really did it. But number two is Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats, Nel Ora Blue. Now, this comes as no surprise to anybody because I fucking love Uncle Acid. I'm stupid for Uncle Acid. I love Kevin Stars. This is an album. This is an album. It is not a series of songs put together. It is an album. It is an experience. Mm-hmm. This is one you need to put on and sit down and really listen to, not just like put on the background through Spotify or some shit like that. You need to really sit down. No interruptions, nothing around you. Put it on. They are currently touring with just playing just this album front to back. Now, for those who don't know, this album is like, as all Uncle Acid albums are, they're a concept album. But this one, they really took that concept album and they notched it up. So the idea was, previous ones like Hammer horror movies or like a kind of like a psych, like, kind of a cult, like Manson family, horror movie or whatever it is.
Yeah. This
one is a Italian noir thriller. And to such a degree that Kevin Starr researched and basically said, which Italian noir film stars are still alive?
Yeah.
Found them, got them to record his scripts for his storyline. So the interludes of this are like the phone conversations amongst the characters in it as this murder mystery unfolds.
That's nice.
And it is front to back an experience listening. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some serious, like, good classic Uncle Acid songs on it. Most of the album is in Italian, but the songs themselves are in English. And so you get this kind of interesting, like, really kind of see what Stars can do as a composer versus just like, a rock musician. I wrote that it's concept and execution. It brings in actors front to back. It's an experience. The song on here that really blows my mind is Solo La Muerte to Amaneta, which I probably butchered because my Italian sucks. But guys, find this album, go on YouTube, put on your ad blockers, and fucking listen to it. Because like you don't want to stop it. You want to listen to the whole thing through. I'm very excited to see them live here in February. But yeah, goddamn, like it is. And even it's such an album to the point, like the collector's edition has like a movie poster. They have kind of like movie promotional materials, like you would see like in a movie, like a press packet. It's really wild how like far they went with this idea of it being a film where there is no film. It's everything but the film. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this album. And if you notice on the cover too, it's really fascinating. It's like Uncle Acid is like in super small letters, where the actors he has on like doing the characters are the bigger titles.
Yeah.
So he, I kind of feel that like this is one of those instances where I could see Kevin Stars doing this and being like geeking out that he's like, I'm happy I got to work with these people. Like I got to be on set with these guys or do Zoom calls or however they record these lines.
Right.
So I'm really glad he got to do this one. Moving on.
Number 1.
Tucker knows what my number 1 is. You know what number 1 is, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna show it to you guys real quick.
Yeah.
It's Attic.
Yeah.
It's Attic Return of the Witchfinder. I listened to this nonstop, man. I couldn't stop listening to this.
Of all of, and there are several of them, of all of the, I call them King Diamond Core bands, Attic are the best.
Yeah. No one.
And it's not even fucking close.
It's not even close. It's interesting. I listened to an interview with the lead singer on Bandcamp, and one of the Bandcamp podcasts, and they asked him about that. Like, how do you feel about getting compared to King Diamond? He's like, don't get me wrong, he's an influence, but we're not trying to be King Diamond. We're trying to like be our own thing. It's just that like, yeah, I do sing in the style that King Diamond sings it.
Yeah.
And I don't view this as King Diamond worship, because King Diamond to me, he crafts his own stories.
Yes.
He's trying to create.
And so does Attic.
And so does Attic. But Attic's stories, I feel they try to root them in more historical lore, where King Diamond's kind of making his own lore.
Yeah.
He has his own mythology, where Attic to me is much more like. This album is interesting because it's not a concept album like Sanctimonious was. This one, the first half, the A side isn't a concept album. It's basically like the witches fucking win. Like it opens up with the witches like performing their darkest rite as it would be, and then basically like running rampant in Hailstorm and Tempest, I believe it is. And then it's the return of the Witchfinder to like stop them. And then the back half is like all these kind of like these like really interesting tributes to various like real demons or like dark angels. And then you have Horrendous Sonatas, I think it is, which is actually based on historical events of like, basically the papacy like digging up like someone who they didn't agree with to put them on trial.
Yeah.
Like real shit that happened in like Europe. And so it's like, it's really cool in that regard. But the execution's good. Where King Diamond is like heavy metal, these guys are black and thrash.
Yeah.
And
there's definitely there's also like a huge dissection influence.
Yeah. Dissection. Absolutely. And so I feel like, I feel like when people say it sounds like King Diamond, I'm like, okay. One is that I don't think you really listen to King Diamond besides the vocals. I think you've only listened to that very surface element, because there's a lot going on with King Diamond. Because I don't hear like King Diamond. I always hear a lot of acoustic guitar on King Diamond, like classical guitar here and there. But I didn't hear anything like that on here. Like nothing like that on this album or these albums.
Attic is definitely more like riff focused.
Yeah. And God bless them, because they played their first U.S. show here. They played in Texas. Played, and they're looking at doing a U.S. tour, and I'm like, guys, you need to come to the U.S., man. We will fucking eat you up. Like, you will make money. Come to the U.S. I will lose it to see Attic live in the U.S. And so I'm hoping they make it through the Bay Area, California. If they only play L.A., I'll drive to L.A. to go see them. But this album, front to fucking back, dude, it is bad ass as hell. Like, it is so fucking good. I think the song on here I really like was Offering of Belbereth. But every song on here is killer, dude. It is. I don't know, man. I feel like this is a band that people. It's weird because I feel like it isn't that people sleep on them. It's the curse of that, like, oh, you guys sound like King Diamond, so here's a King Diamond ripoff band, so I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm like, dude, you're why? Like, listen to it. It's good.
Yeah, don't sell it short.
And it's funny because someone asked them, like, how do you know if King Diamond's ever listened to you? And they're like, yeah, we've heard that King Diamond's heard of us and listened to us. And King Diamond's one of those guys where it's like, he's a really supportive dude. I think I've never heard anyone say like, fuck that dude. Like, everyone's like, he's supportive, and they're like, yeah, like, we took some stuff there, but there's a lot more going on. So I hate when people make that. It's okay when you make that that connection initially to get you hooked, but then once you get into it, it's a whole different game. Where I've never really had a King Diamond record I put on repeat, front to back over and over again. Where Addict, I keep on putting it front to back on repeat.
I listened to Sanctimonious, I don't even know how many times when it came out.
Yeah,
Like,
it's this is the future, guys. And I also go back to one of the things in the interview when they're talking about in terms of the comparison to King Diamond was one of the comments. This is kind of a harsh comment, but like, and it sucks to acknowledge this, but it was what's weird. We're willing to acknowledge it on like Judas Priest, but we're not willing to acknowledge it for King Diamond. Is that King Diamond's not going to be around forever?
No, that's why I really I was thrilled that I won tickets to go see him, because that guy
he's still killing it. He's still
like
killing
65. He's like 65.
Yeah, 65. Yeah.
I knew he was like my dad's age.
So yeah, these guys are killing it, and I think Addict is the future, and I really hope they can make it to the U.S. And this is a band I really wanted to see do well, and this album is fantastic. I could not stop listening to it, blasted it left and right. Once again, like the Black Raid album last year, I just couldn't stop listening to it, and so I think that's the real mark of an album, is that like I'm not skipping tracks. I'm putting it on. I'm still listening to the Black Raid album. Like I'm still like fucking putting that on every like a few weeks. But this one, Attitude, it dominated. It dominated my listening time. So highly recommended. All right, let me go and see what we got to recap here. Is we have our number 1, Addict. Number 2, Uncle Ass the Deadbeats. Number 3, Lucifer. And number 4, Judas fucking Priest. That is a hell of a lineup of 4 albums right there. Those are some powerhouses to me. I can't recommend just you guys going out and listening to some music and the like here more. Check all these ones out. Each one, I guess you can listen from front to back. I actually, of all these albums, I think the one I could piece out the most is the Lucifer album. I feel like I could like pick out a few songs in there and just listen to those. Okay, it's a really good album front to back, but like each song works individually. The Uncle Acid album, I will say this about that album: none of it works by itself. It's truly an album. And the Judas Priest record, I feel like there's some stuff you can pick out if you wanted to, like singles wise, but like, dude, it just kicks ass front to back. And that Addict record, goddamn. But yeah, that's it. Tucker, you said you had some. What was your big album of the year?
Okay. I'll start in no particular order, but I will end on the one that consumed the most of my life this year. First off, I'm gonna start with Legendarium's For Eternal Glory.
Okay.
This is a Dutch and Italian kind of project that's kind of melodic death metal leaning into power metal.
Okay.
Incredible stuff. If you're into like the early Encipherum records or like Catacross, like that Finnish school of thought for melodic death metal, this checks all the boxes. It's good shit. Definitely more like Ripper solos than Shredder solos, but it works just fine.
And they're on Fiatev? I think
they're on Fiatev.
Yeah, Fiatev is a really good label. That's a label that's actually been doing some good work lately too.
Oh yeah. Next up, these are local-ish guys that from Louisville. They're called She. This album is called Pure Disgust. Previously they've described themselves as depressive, suicidal stoner doom. This whole album, again, this one is like the Attic one. It's a fucking experience. You just kind of let it take you for a ride. It's like Weed Eater mixed with Thin Lizzy. There's some fuck yeah guitars in there, but for the most part, man, it's gonna make you. I'll give you an example. They have bumper stickers that they sell at their merch table that say "Honk if you have the big sad."
Nice. Okay. I'm opening these all up to take a listen to these after we go off stream. But yeah, keep on going. Sure. What's you got?
Greyhawk, Thunderheart. It's Greyhawk. It's fucking ripping classic heavy metal, man. They're so fucking good.
I did pre-order. I think I have this one. Yeah, I actually have this one. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. 100%. Yeah, they're good classic metal. Yeah, 100%.
And they've gone through some lineup changes here in the last couple of years.
I was gonna say,
they just keep fucking getting better. This is their last album that they did with their singer Rev, who actually just left the band to focus on his opera career.
Oh, okay.
So they have a new singer now, and I think they're already tracking the next record.
Okay.
Next up, our buddy Trevor Church, Haunt,
Oh, yeah.
Dreamers.
Very cool.
This man's musical output is just insane. I don't know how he does it.
It's because the studio's in his backyard.
I mean, mine's in my basement, and I don't put out as much as he does. Shit. But I mean, it's like every album, like we're in like what I would consider like second wave Haunt right now.
Yeah.
Because he started getting like way more into the more like laid back hooks, more synthesizer heavy, and I'm all about it, man. I've loved hearing Trevor's musical evolution.
Yeah, he's I see him a few times a year, and I don't know what the shift is. I think I'm not sure what's going on with him shift wise in terms of creativity. I do know he's running the festival now out of Fresno.
Yeah, he's doing Frozen in Time.
Frozen Time. I went the first year. I don't think I went this year, but it's been really strong. And yeah, I'm really happy for his success. But I do know that he's doing Haunt, or he's doing his music full time, like 100%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's doing Beastmaker now again too.
Yeah, Beastmaker's back too. Yeah, what's weird about Trevor is I'm never really sure why Haunt or Beastmaker make a play back. Like, I'm not sure what's going on there. It's kind of interesting. But yeah. Okay.
Next up, Mortal Blade, Heavy Metal Wraiths.
Yeah, that one almost made my top. That was on my short list initially.
I got to hear this album like 2 or 3 months before it came out because we interviewed Richie for the Throne of Iron Steel cast. And we broke it all down, and I kind of grilled him like, hey, this sounds like, again, like kind of like I was mentioning with Legendarium, like the early like Finnish Melodeath.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, that's crazy because I don't listen to any of that. It's just a good fucking time, man. It's all killer riffs. Yeah. Richie's vocal style just it works. It's the damnedest thing.
Yeah, that Mortal Blade record, I actually really enjoyed that one. Yeah.
Next up, Thou Umbilical. It's Crusher. I mean, I've seen Thou live 3 times, and I think this is the first thing that they've put out that like really zeroes in on what it sounds like to see them live. This is an absolute fucking crusher of a record. Narcissist Prayer is an absolute bonkers album opener.
I can see that.
I feel nothing when you cry is my high point. Yeah, very, very good.
Okay.
Let's see. Next up, this one I sunk a lot of time into. I know that you weren't like super, not as huge on it. Blood Incantation, Absolute Elsewhere.
Yeah, so
Absolute Elsewhere.
So the Blood Incantation record, man, this thing made This made fucking NPR's list.
It made Time Magazine's
list. And
this record's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And so I'll talk about that one, and I'll talk about another one real quick. There are two that people I see on people's lists, and like I will have sooner or later someone ask me like, why didn't you mention this album? And it's basically the Blood Incantation record and the Chat Pile record. I don't like Chat Pile. I don't, and Blood Incantation, I just can't. This is not for me. Now I'm gonna be very clear. I don't think they suck. I think they're actually quite good. It's just that like I have a really hard time with kind of I have kind of a hard time with like death metal style stuff a lot. I'm very, very, very picky when that occurs, and so for me, it there was kind of this like it just doesn't hit for me how I want to have it hit. It's not something I can really sit down and listen to. But I will say this: the Blood Incantation one was a lot. I did try to listen to it a little bit, and I just couldn't like. I just couldn't get past like the vocal styles like for some reason. It wasn't. But I can see why people like it though. I really do see why people like it.
Oh yeah.
But Chat Pile, I can't deal with hard. I don't like hardcore guys. It's too hardcore. It's too much of that hardcore style for me. I just can't deal with it.
I got 3 more.
Right, let's do it.
Next up, another death metal record, Ulcerates, Cutting the Throat of God. This is like people call them disso death, like dissonant death,
Mhm.
but it's very strange. They play very unorthodox, but it ends up being super melodic in parts. It's a very interesting approach to the genre that I was wholly unfamiliar with before this record, and it's made me go back and listen to their previous ones. Production values are off the fucking charts on this thing. It is just a good sounding record. Next up, the new Paysage d'Hiver, which came out just like last month. Diaberga. My experience with Paysage, with Paysage d'Hiver goes back to when they released Das Tor, which is like my favorite black metal album cover aside from Storm of the Light's Bane, the cover for Das Tor. I was house sitting for my mom in January of like 2013 or something, and the power went out. So it was cold as fuck, and we had just gotten like 8 inches of snow, and I was just hanging out in the basement with a space heater, and I just had like whatever charge was left on my phone, and a buddy of mine in Iowa was like, you want to hear like the most fucking like bleak black metal record ever? I was like, yeah, it's about the time. And he sends me Paysage d'Hiver's Das Tor.
Nice.
And Diaberga continues a lot of that vibe. I mean, like it is just the sound of freezing to death.
I can see that. Okay, I can see that.
And finally, my album of the year that I just could not fucking stop spinning. I exhausted this fucking thing. It is a band from Nashville called Sidon. They
Sidon, yeah. I got a bunch of that stuff.
Black metal themed around Japanese horror, basically.
Yeah, I've heard it called the Splatterpunk Gore Machine. I have that one. Yeah.
This fucking record. Good God. Like, this is the strongest opener and strongest closer I have heard on a record this year. It is just an absolute fucking head kicker all the way through. The vocals, the lyrics are just so to the point. They are blunt. The riffs are killing. It is just an onslaught all the fucking way through. There's some just the lead work, the melodic stuff is killing. My favorite black metal band, like album ever is Dissection Store of the Light's Bane, and anything that falls even close to within that hemisphere gets a huge thumbs up from me. And this is that. It's awesome, and plus that cover art is sick.
Yeah, Sidon's one of the bands that I think of their albums when they started. They got some like cred in like the black metal realm, and the album got kind of reissued on vinyl. Through some labels, and I picked them up, and they were good. I enjoyed them, but they're a band I haven't really kept up on, to be frank. I didn't know they were out in Nashville though. I didn't know they were that out of that area. That's really interesting.
Yep, they're fairly close to me.
I was gonna say. Well, folks.
Yeah,
we got a lot of music this year. It was a big year.
There's a lot of fucking good music.
A lot of music this year, and we appreciate you coming along with us despite the technical difficulties.
Shit we missed.
Yeah, I think there's stuff you always miss stuff. You can never listen to it all. It's just impossible.
No.
But you have to try to listen to what you can listen to. And you can go and look at like a big thing for me is I go and like I listen to a lot of NPR, so I'll go look at their list. And when I look at their list, like I'll see a lot of stuff on there I don't know. And that's fine. Like that's okay. I have what I'm kind of largely into. But I always try to expand it to some degree. I actually picked up like outside of metal stuff or even like this stuff. I picked up. I've been going back and listening to like some South African like jazz, and there's occasionally I pick up some stuff off the wall and everything like that too. There's a local one of the thrift stores. The guy is really into stocking. I kid you not. He has like regular shit. Pretty big hip hop section, but he's into stocking a lot of like older progressive Japanese music, and so like Japanese prog rock, which is a trip to listen to. So I think it's important to always try your hand at something new every time. Obviously, like my top 4 bands, I listen to, Judas Priest, Lucifer, Uncle Acid, and Attic. All of them in my top bands for years. Like I love all those bands, and there's a reason why they keep on being good. But it's like, is that all I listen to? No, but like there's something about them that catches me repeatedly, and I think they're putting out good work. I think they're putting out some of the best work they've ever put out. So please, like, try to but listen to what you love, man. But always never be afraid to go try something new.
Absolutely.
Go to a show, check something out. My wife talks about her friend got her some tickets to a concert, and she's like, I don't want to go. I don't like concerts. I don't go to music. And she went and she saw the person and enjoyed him, and it's Jason Mraz.
Yeah.
But she really enjoys them. She's like, oh, I actually enjoyed myself there. It was a fun concert. So we picked up some Jason Mraz records, and I'll put them on for her once in a while. But it's fun. Like I can see why people like this. It's cool.
There's something to be said for let your friends drag you to a show that you might not have thought to go to.
Don't stay so stagnant, man. It's those fogey motherfuckers who are the worst. That's what you don't want to be. I still remember going to see King Diamond in San Francisco with Unto Others opening, and the guys in front of me bitching about Unto Others. And I'm like, are you fucking for real? This is a good band. This is good music. Because you want every motherfucker to sound like King Diamond. And I know we're talking about King Diamond a lot tonight, but I hate to break it to you all, but he's the center of the universe.
I could talk about King Diamond every fucking day.
Yeah, but it's like you can't. But like these guys, I know these two guys were bitching about like booing Unto Others. I'm sitting there thinking like, you guys haven't grown up. Like you guys aren't adults. Like you guys don't have the capacity to try new foods, to try new things. You probably go and drink the same shit every fucking weekend. You probably watch the same movies every weekend. I'm sure you guys have a worn out tape of Predator at home.
Don't come at Corwin and I like that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's Lost Boys for him. He watches Lost Boys at least once a week.
Did I tell you I went to go see Lost Boys on the Santa Cruz boardwalk with Corey Haim performing live?
No,
I did.
Tim Capello is touring again.
Oh, you guys should be opening for him.
I'm probably gonna go see him.
You should.
There's our place that we always play at in Indy is where he's been there like 3 or 4 times.
Oh wow. Yeah, he was the only person that showed that. Like there was a lot of the core. It was a big anniversary event for Lost Boys at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, and they showed it on the beach and everything. We watched on the beach, beach chairs and everything too. But Corey Haim performed beforehand. His band was Truth Movement or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. And it was rough. But I will say this: as rough as the videos you've seen of the clips of him you've seen him performing are online, that was a clip. It wasn't an hour and a half of it, guys. It's extrapolate that. I'm not joking. I God love him, but dude, it's an experience to see him live. I will say that. That said, I will say this, he's very gracious. He's a very nice person live. He was nice to his fans. And he was there. He watched the movie with everybody and kind of hung out and signed stuff, whatever it was. But Truth Movement is a whole other that's a game to watch. But Lost Boys stuff's always good, man. I'm gonna go listen to some of the stuff that Tucker recommended and hang out and do that all. But hey, once again, thank you for watching. Appreciate it, everybody. I will try to edit the fuck out of this and the like. I will send you some codes for Commando. Thank you very much for entering our thing. I'll send you some codes, but sorry for the technical difficulties. I totally forgot to check my own mic. I was concerned about everyone else's well-being, but not my own, and that cost me. So, but anyway, I will see you guys later. I'm going to be back. Right now, we're at Christmas. We're on hiatus until January. We'll be back then. Tucker, where can we find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/tuckofiron, or you can go to my band's Bandcamp at throneofiron.bandcamp.com, and all of our other socials. We're all over the place. We're all over the internet. You can't ignore us. We're not going to let you. We're not going to fucking let you ignore us.
And please go as a shout out to Tuck of Iron. Please go follow him on Twitch. And him and I are both working on our Blue Sky presence, which has been a lot more, we'll say, constructive. I will put it this way: I had about a month or so ago, I had where the last 20 interactions Avrex Christmas had were all porn bots.
Yeah.
It was just pointless to be on there, and so Twitter sucks. It's worthless.
Twitter sucks. I refuse to call it X.
No, you can.
I'm not fucking sorry. It's Twitter.
It is inappropriate and unethical to dead name people, but you can dead name corporations.
Yeah. And I hope that it
We can call
pisses Elon off as much as it possibly can.
Yes, you can call it. You can call X Twitter, and you can call Nissan Datsun, and it's okay. No one's gonna get offended. If they do, fuck them. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. We'll see you all later, probably in a year. I'll probably talk to Tucker for the first time in a year. So, you all have a good night. Take it easy and go see King Diamond live if you can. That's the moral. That was the whole point of the show. This is a King Diamond promo.
Go see King Diamond and go see Judas Priest. You know, they're not going to be around forever.
It's true, man. It's true. I actually said I've never seen Priest, and I hate myself for it. So
I've never seen Priest either.
Oh, okay. We're bad people. We're gonna go on a dour note. We'll see you guys later next year. Later.